Imagine walking into an interview and being fearful to shake your future employer's hand, not being able to enjoy the simple luxury of wearing flip-flops on a hot summer day, or fearing that people may notice sweat stains on your shirt even though you aren't working out. Performing ordinary tasks is anxiety crippling. Simple day-to-day interactions with people are stressful and avoided, and even family gatherings are dreaded. These are the everyday realities of 2 to 3% or 7.8 million Americans, but not for the reasons you may think. I am talking about a health condition called hyperhidrosis, otherwise known as excessive sweating. Speaking from personal experience, this is a serious health condition that deserves far more recognition and acceptance. Not only does this condition have lasting physical effects on the body, but mental and emotional ones as well. Today, I will be discussing the ins and outs of hyperhidrosis, paired with my personal lifelong experience with this troubling condition, to give some valuable insight into how significantly this takes a toll on people's lives. Diving a bit deeper, I would first like to start out by discussing exactly what hyperhidrosis is to give you all a better understanding of this condition. There are two forms of hyperhidrosis. The first is called primary focal hyperhidrosis. This refers to excessive sweating that is not caused by some other health condition or as a side effect to a medication. People with this condition report it originating all the way back to childhood. There is no known cause, and people with this condition are otherwise completely healthy individuals. This form of hyperhidrosis focuses on very specific areas of the body, such as your underarms, the palms of your hands, soles of your feet, and your back, and can be more than one area at a time, as well as being symmetric, so each side of the body experiences the same amount of sweat. Many people who suffer from hyperhidrosis experience sweating 24/7 from the moment they wake up to the second they fall asleep, and the only real known form of release from this condition is sleeping. Although some things can even trigger sweating even more, such as hot weather, being in a sauna, heavy exercise, and emotions like stress and anxiety, which can trigger more severe sweating episodes. The other main type of hyperhidrosis is called secondary generalized hyperhidrosis. This type of excess sweating is caused by another medical condition or as a side effect to a medication. Moving along, now that you all have a better understanding, let's get into side effects. As I mentioned in my introduction, this disease has obvious visible effects on the body, which makes it such a physical burden. But with the physical effects also come mental and emotional ones. Research conducted at the American Academy of Dermatology Association in Washington suggests that people with hyperhidrosis are far more likely than the general population to have higher levels of anxiety, depression, and attention deficit disorder. Some participants even reported having suicidal thoughts due to the disease ruining their life. In turn, the embarrassment of knowing that a body part is sweating excessively leads to the development of social anxiety, in which going grocery shopping feels like the end of the world and attending a public event is nauseating. It makes for a strained quality of life and results in tense relationships within your personal circle. Uptight, unrelaxed, and uncomfortable are only a few words to really describe this condition. In a constant state of a nervous wreck, this leads to a very self-conscious individual. Next, I would like to talk about treatments because there is always a solution. I would like to focus specifically on one treatment that I found to be very successful long-term and completely changed my life for the better. Previous to this permanent treatment that I underwent, I tried prescription topical ointments and even electric shock therapy. There are plenty of other possible solutions such as medications, home remedies, and Botox injections. The route I took was surgery. There are two surgery options. The first is called sweat gland removal or destruction, and this is a surgical option intended for patients suffering with underarm perspiration. The other main surgical option is called endoscopic thoracic sympathectomy, which I personally underwent. This procedure involves inserting two tubes under each armpit and cutting, burning, or clamping the thoracic ganglion on the main sympathetic chain that runs alongside the spine. In simpler terms, snipping the nerves along the spine associated with sweating in the body. This surgery is generally considered an overall safe, reproducible, and effective surgery, with success rates above 80% of that have been reported. With any procedure, side effects are a given. There is a broad range of side effects associated with this surgery. The main one is compensatory sweating, which means sweating in different areas of the body that you didn't experience prior to surgery. Most patients report that this didn't drastically affect their life and found it to be much more tolerable compared to their previous diagnosis. Lastly, most importantly, I want to openly share my personal experience living with this condition. I had primary focal hyperhidrosis for as long as I can remember since I was a child. I remember being a little girl and walking with my grandfather. Naturally, we would hold hands. Looking back on this, he told me that my hands would sweat and he could feel it. He told me that it didn't make him love me any less, that I was still me. Growing up, I started to notice this more, especially during my early adolescence. In school, it would be all I ever thought about, a constant loop in my head. Dreading the time teachers would call my name, drawing heads of beating eyes at me, worried that everyone in the room could tell how noticeably sweaty my hands and back were. Learning early on that in order to hide my sweaty feet, sandals and flip-flops would not be an option, and that tennis shoes, boots, and slippers would better protect me. I would hate having to share a pen or a piece of paper with a classmate, knowing that upon return it would be dripping with sweat. Vivid memories of cringing having to hold family members' hands at Thanksgiving for prayer. This would be so bad that I remember a specific time running into the bathroom and hyperventilating, wanting to skip forward in time so I wouldn't have to hold my cousin and grandmother's hand, even if it was just for a minute. Middle school dances and dates, grasping to cling onto each other's hands and squeeze tight, hoping to make any excuse or cling loosely, hoping they wouldn't notice. Sitting in class with my back perspiring so badly, literally feeling frozen to my chair, praying no one's eyes were on me, causing me to drown out the lesson and lose focus. These are just a few examples of what I had to endure growing up. I got really used to it and even developed some techniques to deal with my condition. This condition has played a major role in my life, causing tons of stress and loads of social anxiety. I'm so thankful I was lucky enough to receive surgery. It completely healed my hands, but my feet have been the same. I am so thankful for the success of my hands because it has helped me regain confidence and allowed me to do more things with my hands, such as holding hands and writing. I am very used to my feet now, and it is a part of me that I have carried throughout my whole life. I hope to spread awareness to this so other people going through it know that there are tons of solutions and that it's okay and shouldn't be shameful or embarrassed to talk about. To wrap up, by shedding some light and spreading awareness through my speech, I hope you feel better informed and feel compassion towards people suffering with this condition. Hyperhidrosis is a health condition caused by excessive sweating with no known cause to completely otherwise healthy individuals and can have long-term negative impacts on your daily life. Through learning all about its lasting physical, emotional, and mental effects, as well as treatments and success rates, hopefully gives you all a better positive aspect to this disease, as well as listening to my personal success story. I hope to release some of the negative stigma caused from this disease and pave the way for more success stories through sharing.